you all need to attend. I said it's got a lot of really good information.
Yeah, the power of citizens calling their sheriffs and police chiefs and saying, go to this Constitution course with Sheriff Richard Mack and others and find out about this. Again, all the globalists are always in there brainwashing the police. We've just got to go to them and point out the truth. Like Fast and Furious, the government caught shipping guns to Mexico. All right, we're into hour number 2, and we've got open phones throughout the 3-hour broadcast. I got reminded of something really important that I haven't talked enough about recently, because I've talked about it so much in the past. And that's the fact that they're under the Project BioShield, 36 and now growing. They just signed billions more for it. In fact, they just passed a new BioShield last month. We give me the latest numbers on Project BioShield. It's a federal anti-bioweapon program. It's really a bioweapon program. I want to get into different doomsday scenarios that could take out our civilization that don't include scary men with just for men Santa Claus beards. That is, the dyed black Santa Claus beards. So all of that is coming up at the bottom of the hour. I want to continue with your calls. The latest on Iran. Federal government caught laundering more drug money, of course, Village Voice reports. But right now, let's go to John in Texas. You're on the air, John. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
This indefinite detention, military tribunal stuff is not really new to our history. I got an old movie out the other day. It was called The Prisoner of Shark Island. It was about Dr. Samuel Mudd and John Wilkes Booth and the Lincoln conspirators. And it showed in the movie after that Lincoln was assassinated, they fanned out and they arrested a lot of people that were really totally innocent.
They've remade that. It's a pretty good movie. It's called The Conspirators, and it's about the innocent woman being killed. And even when the court and the jury finds her not guilty, the military tribunal, the Secretary of the Army still orders her killed. And it's a true story. And, it happened then. But at least then they had some type of kangaroo court. This is saying disappear into a black hole, not even a kangaroo court. Then there were some German saboteurs that got executed without a trial during World War II. They wanted to blow up an ammo depot. But this is just saying the general public.
So the movie wants to show that you may even have a minor connection to something. Or like one guy is showed in the movie, he rented a buggy to John Wilkes Booth. They arrested him and he got hung. No legal representation or nothing. And what this indefinite detention bill is going to do the same thing. You may be totally innocent, but you're swept off trial, and either you could be executed or sent to Dr. Samuel Mudd got sent to the Dry Tortugas, which was off the coast of Florida, and it was our version of Devil's Island at the time. You could be whisked off to the same thing in Guantanamo, and how are you going to defend yourself?
Well, that's it. And when the government is totally publicly lawless and evil, you know what you got there. Now, these crooks want to intimidate everybody with this, but doesn't intimidate me. I mean, the only way we defeat them is by pointing out they're a bunch of criminals. Of course, I mean, they're caught every day shipping drugs and laundering money and shipping guns out to blame the Second Amendment. I mean, they are a pack of knuckle-dragging criminals. There is no doubt about it. And they want to try to finagle everybody into letting them do this. They've stolen us blind with derivatives. And I watch these Republican debates. They keep saying, let's all work together. Let's bring credibility back to the government. They know we know they're crooks. They know we're awake. Look, most of the military knows what's going on. The low-level people aren't bad. Most police aren't bad. The globalists have failed to recruit criminals at every level. They've got the top, but they don't have the middle and the bottom. And so they're a paper tiger except during PSYOPs. And they could stage terror attacks and blame it on domestic groups and try to roll all this out. That is the great danger. That's why I'm here risking my life, my name, my treasure, everything, to expose their program and to call them out on it before they do it. I mean, do you understand how devastating that is to the system?
Oh, it's definitely devastating. But I'm afraid if they attack Iran and declare martial law, then a whole lot of people is going to start disappearing.
Yeah, well, when folks start disappearing, it's going to be like Solzhenitsyn talked about. We're not going to be burning in the camps here. 1% stands up, it's bye-bye to the system. So, I mean, it's a paper tiger. We move one pinky, and they're just raked aside. They're nothing. Paper tiger. Hi, folks. Wow, we had a caller last hour point out a Yahoo News article with Christmas cards sent out by Fox News. And Fox News admits to it, showing their listeners as sheep and putting their viewers and listeners down as basically scum. And you're like, why are they like that? Well, con artists and no manipulators, they value people being conned. They enjoy disinformation. They relish lying about people. A normal person loves to teach someone a new skill. There's a real pleasure in that. It's a pleasure to teach someone carpentry or marksmanship or archery or video editing or gardening. That's what about 95% of the public's like. But scum, they're the type that think it's cute when you're walking by to stick their leg out and trip you. They revel in you being dumbed down. They revel in you being unaware. They revel in the fact that they sit there and wear fancy suits and look right into the teleprompter and practice looking confident. I mean, you watch the men on MSNBC, Fox is the worst. I mean, they just all look into the camera and just sit there with this satisfied, prideful look that's just meant to totally make the insecure viewer feel pathetic that somebody's looking at them in a sharp overcoat, you know, with snow behind them, reporting from the White House. It's the big appeal to authority. They're up there, and they're telling you what's true. Alex Jones said, kill Michelle Malkin. Not true. They don't care. Jesse Ventura's glad the troops are dead. Isn't true. They don't care. Ron Paul can't win and is anti-American. And they've got some little tarts, women, who sit there with sexual frenzy in their eyes, smiling at you, flirting with you. I mean, that's how a woman acts in college when they find you attractive at a party and is coming over trying to pick you up. But see, it's not a real woman. It's a real person on the other end, but she's not really there in your living room on the big screen TV with her lipstick all done just right, being flirtatious. I mean, it's like a hooker. I was in New York City one time, and this beautiful woman comes prancing by there, trying to pick somebody up. Our demonstration had been going all day. It was breaking up, and she came by and walked back and forth in front of us, and some of the firefighters and police that were with us for the demonstration were, you know, laughing and whistling back at her and like, oh, look at her. She's trying to make it look like we really, you know, need to hire her. And that's all it is they put whores up there on television to sit there and look at you like they are in love with you. And they're in New York City. They're in D.C. They're in Los Angeles. They're not in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're not in Austin, Texas. They're not in Kansas City, Missouri. They're not in St. Louis, Missouri. They're not in Chicago, Illinois. They're not in Hackensack. They're not in Tallahassee, Florida. They're not in Dallas, Texas. They don't love you. They wouldn't give you the time of day out there on the street. You're like, we know that. Really? Do you consciously know that? Do you consciously know that? And the men, they all sit up there. I mean, this is taught in news, TV news, like you're watching local TV. Then I'm going to your calls. Local TV news crew. They'll have the fatherly figure who gives you the political news locally and nationally that, you know, you're going to listen to. The archetypal chief type. It's a profile. And then they've got the little junior kind of, you know, good guy kid who reports, you know, the sports. That's the fun guy you can trust. And they've got the cute little, you know, little daughter type who's the good girl, kind of like Mary Ann. And then you've got the sexy ginger reporter. And then you've got the motherly type woman. And then you might even have a hoss type, you know, kind of a tough guy type that reports on police stories. And they sit there and they program it all out. But now they've just shifted purely because they know men mainly watch cable news to women. with their lipstick all glittering. The ancient Babylonian, prostitute marker. I'm not knocking women that wear lipstick. I'm not going to go into what it's supposed to be. But, the point is, all of this is going on to archetypally manipulate you. I mean, let's just be honest about it. And then here's Fox News. In fact, we've got to show it again since I mentioned it, please. Showing you as sheeple. And even Yahoo News and others that reported on this, Fox News even put this out publicly. Fox News posted this themselves. This is their total disdain for their viewers, their hatred of them, just the total joke of it all to them. Because, again, con men like to brag. The best part of it is doing it in front of you. And it says, in what's becoming an annual media tradition, Fox News used its holiday card to wish friends and family well this holiday season and take a swipe at CNN and MSNBC. See, even this person, Dylan Stableford, writing this, didn't even get the card because he's in a trance. Or he's part of the system and doesn't tell you the best part of the joke. The front of Fox's 2011 card, distributed to media journalists, including this one, features a cartoon Fox leading ABC, NBC, and CBS in a sheep sled race with jockeys for MSNBC and CNN watching from the sidelines. The idea is that Fox News, the top-rated cable news network, is so far ahead, it's now competing against the big three networks. Representatives of CNN, MSNBC did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Inside a poem to be sung to the tune of Joy to the World begins. And it goes on to say Fox Business took a similar track showing Fox is roasting a peacock around an open flame. He doesn't mention surrounded by their sheep viewers. The real message here is we've got more slaves, more mind zombies than you do. See, I do not seek gold. I do not seek land. I do not seek sex, fame, none of it. None of it means anything. Property, gold is just fuel to fund my operation and treasure to fight my enemies. But it's not what it's garbage. It's trash. What matters to me is ideas. What matters to Alex Jones is freedom and seeing control freaks and deceivers and those that would abuse the innocent cast down and broken at the bottom of a cliff. That's what I seek. I seek exploration of the stars. I seek our destiny being fulfilled. I seek my progeny 1,000 years from now, not even knowing who I am, but looking back on this time when all of us turned the tide against dehumanization and a criminal group of humans trying to play God and set up an artificial environment and a total false mirage to control us. I stand against those that would make us mindless sheep. I stand against those that would keep people from knowledge. I stand against those who revel in keeping our people in bondage and darkness. That's who I stand against. And I'm here believing in my fellow humans, black, white, old, young, of every race, color, and creed. I believe in you. I know in my gut that if I come up here and pour out the full horror, which is impossible to do, but attempt it, that if I give you what I know and what I've researched, and for yourself to see, don't believe a word I've said, that you will wake up and we will defeat these globalists. Let's go another call. We'll continue with calls till I'm done with this bank of calls, and I'll get to the big enchilada news, doomsday. Not saying doomsday is coming, but the globalists have false doomsdays planned. I'm going to break this down for you coming up. Let's go ahead and talk to Henry in Canada. You're on the air.
Then again, Dr. Jones.
Hey, buddy, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to speak to the GoDaddy guy. I was going to get a website a little while ago through GoDaddy, but then I found out about SOPA, and it was no boycott. I just have two quick observations. I woke up about a third of my high school, back when I was in high school, really woke them up. And I noticed that the